Next, let's go over how to use the bevel tool. Beveling is a very important tool in Maya, and I'm going to select a face and hit bevel. It'll be very similar to an extrude, however it comes with a slight scale of the original face. If I go to fraction, I can change how large that bevel is. Segments will increase the smoothness of that bevel. Depth will make it from an inside bevel to an outside. You can ignore metering and come down to chamfer. If you turn it off, it will not change the geometry, it'll just give you more topology to work with. You do have to be careful when you are beveling. If I want to bevel these corner edges, it will look quite nice. However, I am now stuck with a very large n-gon up here with a lot of geometry that does need to be fixed. You could use the multi-cut tool or some other methods to fix that top and bottom face. Another feature of the bevel tool, if you just have your object in object mode and you hit bevel, you can bevel the entire object at the same time. This can sometimes be very helpful, but you can also have some extra geometry if you bevel the entire object. So let's say we have some subdivisions on that cube and hit bevel. It'll still look like it did originally, but we have a lot more geometry here, and none of these edges are doing anything. Another thing to be careful of, if you bevel an entire object, or sometimes not an entire object, just a few edges or faces, you can end up with triangles in your corners. This is very, very common, and this has nothing to do with your fraction, but it does have something to do with your segments. If you have an odd number, you will always have triangles. So we up that to 3, we'll have a smaller triangle, 5, and a smaller triangle. If we change it to 2, you can see it's going to be all quads, and it's actually much, much nicer to work with. Generally, when I do a bevel, I'll bring my segments up to 2. If I have to make it a little bit higher resolution, I'll do 4, but it will always be an even number unless I can get away with having a triangle or the bevel that I'm doing does not create a triangle.